Hello. Who is here with me? Oops, there. My volume was down. Hopefully you can hear me. Yesterday somebody had trouble hearing me, but I think that you can hear me now, right? Let me know who's here, what's going on, anything to ask, to report, to share. Um, right, debbierobinson.com. Maybe I should do it this way. Hello, Sharon. How are you? How's your cat? That's what I'm thinking. I mean, I know you have the cat in the box, but I know you have your little cat at home. So, um, who else is here? Stevie. Good morning. I'm good. Recovered. I am good. Yes. Lots of exciting things are happening as usual. Mona, happy Thursday to you as well. Yeah, a lot of great things are happening. So, you know what? Okay, Hamilton is terrible. So I have 4 cats, and 2 of them I got 2 years or 3 years ago. The issue is that Hamilton came in here as an alpha male with 2 other males, and so he's not happy. So Hamilton marks all over the place, and we were thinking it was our other male, Carson, but actually it's Hamilton. And we have cameras. We've caught him on camera. We had him in a room where he was the only cat in the room all night long, and we found urine. And so he's marking. And I mean, marking like he marked my purse. I had to throw my purse away. So I want to say that I totally love him, and I still have love fest with him. And I look into his beautiful blue eyes, and I'm consumed with love. Yet, I can't stand that part. So I don't know. So he's still here. But anyway, I mean, that's him. So we did put our dog down last week or the week before. She was 17. And I do kind of think we waited a little late. I wanted to maybe do that the week before. It's just a very hard decision to make. And I think when we finally get to that decision where their walking is affected, or you could just tell that they're struggling, then you make that decision. And then I feel like, gosh, we should have done that a little earlier. Susan, Charlottesville, wow. Male cats, yeah, and I've got 3 males and 1 female, and it's the new male that just started marking everywhere. Yeah, and then I think you're saying that about my dog, Chaley. Yeah, but she has a sibling that she's with now, I'm sure, and they don't stay in their form forever, right? So she had to pass into the formless. Carol, and let me see. Yeah. It's, what the thing is about pets? It's fluffy love. It's amazing and it's beautiful. And they're so loyal and it's so giving. And then they have a certain lifespan that is short in comparison to most of ours. So there is that aspect that it's not a forever, yet to be happy with what we have. And there's a benefit and growth and something so beautiful that comes out. Like they say, it's better to have loved and to have lost than to never have loved. I really think that shows up here when we talk about our pets. And it is hard when they need to go to the formless world. But I look at it that way. I look at it like in one moment, they're in their form. We could touch them and kiss them. And then they're not in that form anymore. But the memory of the love and everything we gained from them is still there. And so even though there's a tinged sadness of the loss, there's still this appreciation of what we had. And so that's kind of the way that I try to look at it, especially with my fluffy creatures, my fluffy love. All right, so I'm going to go back here. And so I won't be able to chat with you anymore. And I don't have my glasses, so you might have seen that I was a little bit squinting. All right. So a little bit of housekeeping. I am going to be doing challenges, monthly challenges, because I think that we all have things we want to do or should do, but it's not always easy for us to have that self-discipline to do them. So myself included. And so I am going to run monthly challenges. They're going to be free. And, you do what you want, you do what you can. There will be a Facebook group for interaction. And each month I'm going to choose a different theme, and it's a theme that's related to bone health and healthy aging. I'd love to have you join me. I put in the chat here my website. The homepage is where I will list my challenge of that month. And you don't necessarily have to do it every day of that month. You could start it in that month. You could have different challenges going on at the same time. So this challenge that's going to begin on October 1st, which is on Saturday, this balance challenge will be, it's a balance challenge. So it's on balance, because balance is really probably one of the most important aspects of bone health. Whether you are balancing your physical body and strengthening the balance in your joints, your muscles, your ligaments, tendons physically, or when you go deeper and you start to look at your internal balance, your balance of digestion, absorption, and assimilation, and bone remodeling, the balance of bone building versus bone loss. So balance is probably one of the overarching terms I'd like to use for bone health. So this challenge beginning on October 1st, 30 days. When you join, it's free, join, and you'll receive an email that has a link to a page with videos. And on that page, the videos will describe different options. You may decide to do a tree posture, or a dancer posture, or a half moon posture, or a twisted triangle posture, whatever it is. Choose something that you can monitor and track, so that at the end of the 30 days, you could see if you gained something, strength, more steadiness in this, whatever it is you've chosen. So I think that would be really great. We can post either daily or often what it is you're doing for your challenge. It'd be great to cheer each other on, like kind of just really creating a community. That's my goal, is a Healthy Bones lifestyle community. And so this month is going to be balanced. I've already got my theme for the next few months. If you would like to share any suggestions of themes you think that would be great for the group, please do so. Big overarching, like, what do you want to improve in your life? Because what we track, we improve. When we turn the light on something we want to have an effect on, that's when we actually manage it or work on it. And so we're here for bone health, for osteoporosis, to strengthen our muscles and our bones. And so the focus of what we do here will be for that. So setting your focus on an intention and then working towards achieving that. It's like finding a map and finding, I'm going to go visit Zanzibar, and you put your little dot on Zanzibar, and then you pull yourself back, and now you're going to start making your flights for Zanzibar, getting your cars, getting your hotels, getting some people to go with you. And so ours is going to be 30 days from now, stronger balance. And you're going to choose something to notice that at the end of 30 days, where was there improvement? And there is. You're going to get stronger somewhere, in some capacity. And then there's that self-love aspect, self-care that so many of us don't do for ourselves. So even taking the time out for that. So please sign up and join us for that. That could be really exciting. And I hope to see you there. Today's practice, I am going to do a lot of postures. So I'm not sure how many we'll get to. My intention is to do quite a bit so that there's a lot of bone building stimulation from many different angles, pulling on the bones, pushing on the bones, stressing them out in a safe and effective manner, which is what is our goal. So for today's practice, you're going to need a block, a strap, and a blanket. And then when we do the standing part of the practice, you may want to be near a wall or have a chair nearby. So make sure you gather your props so that this, right now, what we're going to enter will be this bone building zone for the next hour plus. So get all of your stuff, whatever you need, bring it here. And once you've brought all your stuff here, let's now bring all of you here. So I'd like to begin. You could support your seat. If you have a block and you have bendable knees, this is a really nice one to do. Supported heroes to sit on like this. It really helps to give a nice erect spine and allows for more profusion of breath into the tissues as we breathe in and out. If you cannot sit like this, sit in a crisscross leg position. Let's set our intention. Let's set ourselves up so that we could be in a bone building position inside, so we could balance our internal biochemistry to be receptive to whatever bone building stimulation you're going to bring to today's practice. So take your hands down along the side of the body, stretch your fingers, reach down and reach back. That in and of itself helps to add some postural correction to the upper spine, to the upper trunk. Reaching down, take an exhale. Inhale, wherever your arms will go. Allow them to find themselves overhead and bring them straight down to your heart. You inhale and you exhale. Shoulder issues, you may be here and here, wherever your arms go. And we're going to close our eyes. The inhale is reaching out to gather you, and bring yourself to the center. Hands come together, hands go down to the heart. You inhale, reaching around yourself to gather your energy, to gather thoughts, and bringing yourself to the present moment. Hands come together, hands down by the heart. Continue a couple of these, inhaling, reaching up, exhaling down to your heart, straight down to the heart. Stretching your arms. Finishing up the one that you're on, and do one more. Keep your awareness right here, right now. Bring your hands together, bring the hands all the way down to your heart. Let the hands touch your heart touch your hands. Press your hands into your heart, long spine. Press down into your seat, wherever it is, long with your spine. Couple of breaths right here, setting your intention. Now is the time to practice yoga. Now is the time to practice yoga for osteoporosis. Feel your heart beating. Notice the energy of your mind, the energy of your body, and the energy of your soul. Take one more breath. Bring your awareness to your eyes as you gently blink your eyes open. This is not merely a physical practice. You are not just the body that we see. There is depth to you, your emotional, your mental, and then your deeper aspects, your soul, who you are as a person, who you've always been, and even those that came before you to be a part of who you are. That is what we do when we practice yoga. So all the way down to our bones, all the way from our soul level to cell level to bone cell level. All right, let's prepare for the first part of the physical practice. Well, I guess that actually was the physical practice, right? Because you may have noticed that when you do this, that the shoulder blades are gliding up and down the back rib cage. The arms are stretching. So there is a postural correction to this in and of itself. It also brings you to the present moment, because when the hands touch, there's a lot of prefrontal or sensory cortical brain stimulation. So you're actually bringing yourself, this act here grounds your mental energy to the present. All right, so let's take the blanket. We're going to roll up the blanket. The tighter you roll it, the heavier and thicker your blanket is, the deeper the spinal extension, or the deeper the supported back bend will be. So do this according to what your needs are. Harder and tighter is for those of you that want a little bit of a bigger opener. For those of you that have a little bit more tightness in your body, like maybe even some rounding in your upper posture, you may not want to go as tight with your roll. And then for some of you, you may need something at the top for your head, depending on whether or not you have rounding in your spine and if your head is forward. So for those that have more of a corrected postural position, you may be able to get away with a little bit more stretching for this part of your body. Coming down onto the ground always, keeping the front of the spine nice and long. Arrange yourself so that your tushy is on the floor. The low back starts at the low spine. Your head is supported by the blanket. Do whatever you need to do here. And then let's gently bring this into your body. Push your feet into the floor, lift your pelvis up. Let your pelvis rest down into the ground. And then close your eyes and start to move your arms out to the side slowly, closing your eyes, feeling your way into what's appropriate for you to stretch your shoulders, your chest. For those with shoulder issues, be careful. You don't want to pull too much on tissues that are injured or damaged because you're poking the monster of inflammation and pain. So do what's appropriate for you. Always be your own yoga therapist. Listen to the voice in your body on what is safe for you. Close your eyes. Feel movement, feel stretch where the arms attach to the body. If you're able to raise your arms overhead, you may start to feel the belly stretching as well. And then bring yourself back to your position. Out, arms are out to the side. Tushy is on the ground. If you want to explore straightening your leg, do it with your eyes closed so you could feel your way into it, feeling what's appropriate, and then placing your skeleton where you need to create the appropriate stretch for you. Come into as wide of a body position as you can to feel as much stretch that is appropriate for you. Mouth is closed. Let's allow the relaxation response to enter your tissues and your mind. So bring your awareness to your belly. Mouth is closed, breathing all the way down to your belly. And breathe so deeply that you actually feel your body stretching with your breath. See if you can notice that as you breathe in, where are you tight? Use the breath to expand your ribs as much as possible, the diaphragm as much as possible, and feel what stretches. Is it one side or both? Do you feel the breath going all the way down to your lower belly by your legs? Do you feel it on the right side the same as you feel it on the left? And now let's see if you could isolate one side and the other. So bring your awareness down to your left side body where the left leg attaches, the left lower belly, the left hip, the left low back, the left buttock, the left lower ribs, left upper ribs. And as you breathe in with your awareness on the left side of your body, breathe to the left side only. Bring your awareness now over to the right side. The right low belly, right hip, right buttock, right waist, right low ribs, right upper chest, right armpit, right upper rib cage. And breathe there, visualizing it and directing the breath there. Bring your awareness back to your entire torso. Breathe and stretch your entire torso from where the legs attach to your body all the way up to the upper ribs. Feel the whole spine moving with breath, the whole rib cage. Few more breaths like this, feeling your torso stretch. Push your heart up towards the sky, push the arms into the ground, legs into the ground. That'll deepen the stretch a little in the spine and the belly, feeling and noticing what you notice. Notice if it's equal one side and on the other. And then let the breath go. Keep your mouth closed. Bring your awareness to your head. Exhale. Inhale. And as you exhale, let your head roll slowly towards one direction. Inhale back up to center. Exhale the other direction. Inhale back up to center. Side to side. And then bring yourself back up to center. Take yourself into a fully stretched position. If you're able to, like a 5-pointed star, reaching the fingertips long, reaching the toes, and then reach out your heels. Pull your toes towards you. Reach out your fingertips. Feel yourself stretching. Blanket behind you helps to support an extension position in your spine. You may feel the belly stretch here. You may feel the spine. You may feel the rib cage, the armpits. Deep breaths, mouth closed. And then go ahead. Bend your knees. Bring yourself onto the side. Take your hand onto the ground and push yourself up to a seated position. Take your blanket, fold your blanket, and come to kneel on your blanket. So it's really important that you be very in tune with your body because you are pulling and pushing on bones. You're pulling muscles and ligaments and tendons. You're stretching your blood vessels, your nerves, your fascia. And so you need to be body aware, connected to this present moment, not in the past, not in the future, to feel that what you're doing is appropriate. You want to go in your body, you want to push and pull to your edge, maybe slightly over, but knowing what is appropriate for you. It is that deep, strong pressure and force that will create bone building as long as it's appropriate to you. You don't want to go too far and stimulate too much stress in your body because the body doesn't build bones when it's under stress. So identifying within yourself where you are, what's appropriate, and if you have an issue or an injury, taking that into account. Are you hydrated? All of these factors. And so I will do postures and move my body in the way that my body can move. It's the shape that we're trying to achieve. And you will do that in your body and find what's appropriate for you. I like to close my eyes because when I close my eyes, then I can feel what I'm doing. And I always say to notice what you notice and feel what you feel. And that will be the best guide for you. As we move through these postures, we'll do a warm up to make sure our body is warmed up. I'll direct you on what are safe movements, really focusing on the hips for bone stimulation and also for safe movement. So let's begin to do a little bit of warming up here. Let's take your hands forward. Forward folding is a no-no with osteoporosis unless you're doing it correctly in the hip and not in the spine. Take your hands forward. Let's start bending our hip, warming up our hip. Keep your head lifted up, even if it feels a lot of tension in your upper back and neck. You're strengthening your upper back and neck by lifting your head up like this. So know that that's why you're doing it, so that you don't avoid it. Keep your head lifted, bending your hip, low belly comes closer to the top thighs, glutes stretch, spine lengthens. Use your hands, push your hands into the ground. You want to stretch your spine, bend your hips. One more, going back. Come forward, hands are wide, about the width of your mat. Go slow here. Push your hands into the floor and start to bring your belly button closer to the floor. Let your gaze look up, feel the front belly stretch. Push your belly button to your spine, bend your hip, keep your head lifted. So going through your hips, forward, stretching hip flexors, stretching that psoas that's attached to the low back. Back to contract the hip flexors, strengthening the glutes and the spine and the back muscles. Go slow here. Keep your eyes open, feeling and noticing along the way. Start to go deeper with your back bend by letting your head lift up even higher if you can. And then bring yourself back to center. Bring yourself up for a second. Noticing that, pumping a little bit fast through the joints, secreting fluids in the hips, lengthening the spine, creating some fluid secretion there in the shoulders as well. Bring yourself all the way forward here. You're kneeling. So we're going to start to weight bear in our hips. Add a little bit of challenge of joint coordination and balance by being here. Take your hands on your shoulders. Inhale, reach your hands up to the side, open up your throat. And as you exhale, chin to chest, elbows down, elbows towards each other, and then inhale up. Go so big that you feel your belly stretch with this. When your elbows come up, your lower ribs pull away from the pelvis, stretching the belly. One more. And then bring yourself down. Shake your wrists. So let's move into our first posture, plank. Strengthening the front of the body, trying to get those stabilizing muscles in alignment right away. So with plank, this is full plank. This is the variation, or you could come down onto dolphin, either variation or legs are up. Whatever you choose, it needs to be the right one for you, and they're all effective. They're all good. Not one is better, but one is better for you, so choose that one. Let's take your hands forward into whatever position you're going to. We're going to do this one for a minute because I think it's such a fantastic posture. One foot back and then the other. Close your eyes, feel your body here. Make sure your fingers are spread and then push your fingers into the floor, all of them. So it's not just the heel of the hand, it's the fingers. And then heart towards the ground so that the shoulders are deeply rooted and the shoulder blades are supporting the back body. Head is active, it's not flopping. Long neck, long spine. Push your belly button up towards your spine, tailbone towards the lower ribs, activating the core. Push your feet, all the toes into the floor, and push through your heels. And then push away from the floor with your feet in your hands. Deep breaths. One more breath. And then bring yourself out. Shake your wrists. Wrists are around in circles. Try to make this be pretty wristy. Not doing this. You want it to be in the wrists. And then come into whatever position you need to catch your breath. That's a pretty big posture, demanding a lot of muscles. Moving on, we're going to come down into the ground, do some of the postures on the ground. So take your blanket, top of the mat. You're going to need your block and your straps. Have those nearby. Coming onto your side and then all the way down onto the ground. Draw one knee and then the other into your body, rocking side to side. Feet are down. Let's warm up the hips, warm up the body. We're going to warm up the body for back bending. Take the hip joint for all that we do. We do a lot of spinal and hip joint work in yoga for osteoporosis. Take your arms out to the sides. Take your feet off the mat. Kneecaps are up towards the sky. Exhale. Inhale, let your knees go towards one side. Exhale, contract your core. Press your belly button towards your spine to come back up to center. Inhale the other side. Close your eyes. This is not about getting close to the floor. This is trying to keep your pelvis close to the ground, not letting the tushy fly away from the floor. Letting the knees go away from you and to the side. So not just to the side, but away from you as well, lengthening that hip joint. Close your eyes. See if you could feel that stretch coming into the top of the leg, up the hip towards the lower ribs. The next time your knees go to the left, stay there. Turn your head to the right and activate your right arm. Reach your right arm long. Flex your wrist. Reach through the heel of the hand. Reaching long. Breathe to the right side, the right armpit, the right rib cage. Push your heart up towards the sky. Add a back bend if that's okay for your body. Really stretching your torso. Breathing to the right. Take one more breath. And then come through center, come to the other side. The knees go over to the right, the head goes to the left. Left arm reaches long and away from you. Breathe to your left side. Feel the left side stretch. Add that back bend. Push the heart up towards the sky. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. Draw the knees into your chest, side to side. Let's take the legs one at a time up towards the sky, modifying to your needs here. Knees closer to the chest if you need a little bit more support. Knees right above your hip joint if you can contract your core and stabilize your pelvis without your low back receiving too much tension from managing the weight of the legs. And then reach through the heels.
Pull the toes towards you to start stretching the calf area. Very important for balance and fall prevention is to have lower leg flexibility. It's also good to ward off plantar fasciitis and a lot of foot problems that many people seem to be getting. And then bring your knees to your chest. Let's stretch our legs. So we're going to begin pulling on the pelvis, creating stimulation in your pelvic bone. And so the more you pull and the straighter your leg is, the more bone building stimulation you'll create to the pelvis. Maybe some of you may need to fold your blanket. If you fold the blanket a little bit more, it gives you a little bit more access. So if you cannot straighten your leg when you're doing this, if you're having trouble, your leg's away, I recommend you fold your blanket quite a bit to elevate your head, to take out some of the pulling tension of tightness that may exist in your spine or upper body. So do what you need to do. Let's do the right foot. Draw the right foot in, take the strap on the right foot, right by the arch. Then slide your hands down, very firmly draw that leg down into the socket. Straighten the left leg if that's something that's okay for your body. And then firm up the right leg, push the right leg away, pull it down towards the ground, and let's begin. Drawing that leg towards the wall behind you. Create as much pulling sensation as you can safely, right where your leg attaches to your body. Push the leg away, pull the leg back. One more breath. And then bend the knee to release the tension. So you create tension and then you take a break at the end of that. Take your strap in your right hand, slide your hand down the strap. Keep your leg high. Don't let your leg go towards your feet at any point. So as you go out to the side, don't let the leg go forward. And if it does, that's where you need to stop. So let's lengthen, inhale into the stretch. Stretching the inner thigh and pulling on the pelvis from a different angle. Push into the strap, draw the leg up towards the wall behind you. Create as much sensation as you can. The right inner thigh is as far away as it can be from the left upper thigh. Take one more breath. And then draw that leg back up. Let's take the left foot up into the air. Switch. Take your hands, draw your hands around. I like to do this because you could get a nice firm hold and we want to create a lot of tension. So pulling the leg down to root the leg into the socket. Straight the right leg if that's okay for your body. Press the left leg away, firm up the muscles, and then let's enter. Inhale, enter into this deep stretch. Feel as much pulling as you can at the back of your left leg where it attaches to your pelvis. Pull down, push away, pull back. Take one more breath. And then release the tension. This is where you take your little break. You go into tension and then you move out of it. Take the strap in the left hand, right hand out to the right, and then you're going to inhale into the stretch, the deepest stretch that you could do in your body safely. Leg towards the wall behind you. Try to get that left inner thigh far away from the right upper thigh. One more breath. And then draw the leg back up. Let's do the third variation of pulling on the pelvis. You're going to bring both legs into the strap. Have your feet be hip distance. You want the soles of the feet pointing up towards the sky. Don't let your feet roll. Don't let the arches push towards the strap. Push the pinky toe edges into your strap. Hold on to your strap. Pull your legs down. You want straight legs here. So wherever your legs go to keep them straight, let's enter this. Straight legs drawing back, pulling on your pelvis. As much strong sensation as your body can handle and your bones can handle. Pushing into the strap with the pinky toe edges, active feet, toes are spread, legs are towards the wall behind you. Pull down to root the legs in the socket. Reach through your heels up towards the sky. You could try pushing your tailbone into the ground, your heels up towards the sky. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bend your knees. Strap to the side. Slowly drawing one knee in and then the other, side to side. Bring your hands down, hands on the belly. Check in with your body, making sure that what you've done so far is appropriate. So we're going to move on to the bridge pose. I'd like to do this with a strap that's looped, and I'm going to put my arms in the strap when I come all the way up. Now that's not for everyone. For those of you that are not able to get very high off the ground and hands wouldn't go underneath, this won't be for you. If that's you, you may need to choose to do this with your arms bent or your arms straight. Not one is better, but one is better for you. So choose the one that's the best for you. These are all different variations. So I'm going to take my hand in the strap alongside my body. When I come up, I'm going to reach and put the strap on my hands and push out on it. Just helps to activate the shoulder girdle, giving a little more support up here to get more back bend in the thoracic spine. So do what you can. Let's begin by taking the blanket away from the back of your head. Slide yourself so you're more narrow across the top. Lift your head up, neck is long. Walk the feet closer to your body. And then press the belly button of the spine, flatten the low back into the ground, and peel your spine away from the floor a little. Reach underneath to get the strap if you're going to do that. If you do, you can make yourself more narrow across the top. And then continue to push your feet into the ground. Lift yourself up as much of a back bend as you can. This is a bending your spine posture and pushing them away from the ground. So use those strong pushing muscles to push away. Really bend your spine here. No weight at all in the head or neck, only in the upper back. Creating spinal bone strength, pushing the back of the spine into itself to create more stronger bones in your spine. Finishing up your last breath. And then coming down slowly, one vertebra at a time. Bring the blanket back underneath your head. Draw the knees into your chest. Come into a happy baby. Legs are wide, rocking side to side across the low back. Feet on the floor, hands on your belly. We're going to move on to the locust. So coming all the way onto your belly. Move your blanket away. Come onto the Sphinx so that the elbows are directly underneath your shoulders. Walk your feet so that your big toes touch. Push your hands into the ground. Push your heart forward. Try to draw the rib cage away from the pelvis. Breathe down to your belly. The base of the front of your body is where the pubis bone is. And if you push the pubis bone into the ground when you do the locust, you can help to protect your low back. Let's lengthen your body as you lower down onto the ground. Bring your forehead to the ground and your hands alongside your body. Exhale. Inhale. Let the inner thighs reach up towards the sky, the soles of the feet up towards the sky, the head, the arms, reaching everything away from the sky or everything away from the ground. Long spine. Close your eyes, feel this. It's a back bend. Push that pubis bone towards the ground. Lift as high as you can safely, pushing the back of the vertebra into itself to create that compressive force for bone building. One more breath. And then bring yourself down. Fold your hands one on top of the other. Take your feet wide. Flip your toes if you can so that the big toe edge of the foot goes towards the ground. And then wiggle your pelvis side to side. Let your forehead rest on the back of the hands. Breathe down to your belly. Walk the feet back. Bend your legs. Soles of the feet are up towards the sky. Let's do a little side to side. Take the tension out of the body from doing that strong back bend. And then bring your legs stationary. Take your arm up, reach your arm up, roll onto your side. Let everything settle. Take your hand, spread your hand, bring your hand on the floor in front of you, and then push yourself up. Get your blanket. Come into a resting position, bending the knees if they will, or staying in a kneeling position, or crisscrossing your legs. Close your eyes. Feel your heart rate, heartbeat. Breathe down to your pelvis, ground your mental energy, ground your breath. And then open your eyes. Let's come to standing to do some standing postures. This is when we can strengthen our balance and the joints, doing some weight bearing, a little deeper pulling and pushing on bones, which is going to create a little more stimulation. So come on to your kneeling position. Letting yourself go from one position to the next is important for fall prevention. Bring a foot forward. Flip the back toes under, take your hands on that front leg. Let your body weight go back, inhale, and then exhale. Look forward and up as you bring yourself forward and up. We want to prepare our space for standing, so bending your hips deeply to reach down and move your props. Move your mat if you need to closer to a wall, or grab a chair if you need a chair. So let's begin the standing practice by stacking the joints. This is a posture called Mountain Tadasana, a posture of alignment. So let's find that in our bodies. Big toes touching or towards touching is a little harder for balance. So do that if it's appropriate to you. Otherwise, hip distance, which is not body distance. Hips are not here, your hips are here. The front part of the hip is right here in the front of the body. So choose the best position for you, and then feel that all parts of your foot are active. Push the heels into the floor, the toes, the pinky toe edge, arches are active. Take your shoulders forward, up, back, and down, hands down alongside the body. Reach down with your hands, push down with your feet, and get long in your spine. Head on top of your spine, chin parallel towards the ground. If you feel pretty secure here, you could try closing one eye or the other or both. Only if that's appropriate and you have pretty strong balance, because the eyes are a big part of balance. So taking them out of the equation only if that's appropriate for you. Take one more breath. Relax a little to come out of that. Let go of any tension you were holding your alignment in. Let's move into tree. The gaze is straight ahead. Move your body weight to one side. Bend the opposite knee, knee out to the side, and bring the foot up in between the ankle and the knee. Push down with your foot, down with your hands, along with your spine. Choose a focal point that you could intensely gaze at. If you want to add on, you can start letting your gaze go up. Last breath. Bring yourself out and down. Challenging yourself if it's appropriate for you, or coming into whatever variation you'd like. Push your hands down, push your feet down, lengthen your spine, move to the other side. Knee bent, foot up on top of the ankle, in between the ankle and the knee. Find a focal point. Only add the challenge of looking up if you're ready for that. Take one more breath. Bring yourself out. And then relax, shake your body. So we're going to come into the chair pose. It's nice sometimes if you have a block. You don't have to do this with a block. I like to do it sometimes. I like to do different things. Having a block here will help to turn on that whole midline. When we come into the chair, we're deeply bending our hip joint. So the movement backwards comes at the hip, not anywhere near the spine. Only the hip is bending and a little bit of the knees, but really the hip. Take your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Hands are down. Let's exhale. And then as you start to bring your low belly close to your top thighs, pushing your feet into the ground, squeezing your block if you have one. And then bring your arms up, squeezing the block, pushing your feet into the ground. Bend as deeply as you'd like to create as much stimulation in the legs, in the pelvis, as you'd like.
Push down, lift up. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself up. Block out to the side. Come to the Tadasana mountain to realign, to catch your breath, to recalibrate. And then release. Let's come into the warrior two. If you think of a warrior is powerful. So this is a power posture to give you power, to feel powerful, to feel strong. That's very important, especially if you have a diagnosis of osteoporosis or osteopenia. Let's take your legs wide, really wide here. A wall or a chair if you need it. These different angles creating a lot of different force in the hips. Front foot, the toes lift up, the legs stay straight, and you swivel in that hip joint into an externally rotated position in the hip. If you keep that leg straight and you're on that heel, you're in that hip. Push the back foot into the floor, lift the heel up and away from you. This is where you might need a wall or a chair. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Push away from the pinky toe edge of the back foot, bend the front leg. Exhale, and then inhale. Push away strongly from the back foot. Bend the front hip and the front knee, loading down as deeply as you can into your warrior two. Tailbone down towards the ground, long neck, arms are pressing back. Reach through your fingers, lift your heart. Active feet. So lift the arches away from the floor. Feel like you're grabbing the floor with the foot. The toes, the heel, and the pinky toe edge are scooping into the floor to lift the arch up. Push both heels into the floor like crazy. Take one more breath, and then you're going to unbend. Let's bring the toes forward. Let's go to the other side. So the more active you are on the feet, you're strengthening your feet and your ankles, and 80% of balance is down in the feet and the ankles of the calves. So we want to make sure we have very active feet in this posture. Keep the legs straight, lift the toes up, swivel on that straight leg, on that heel, external rotation in the hip. Pick the back heel up, bring that back hip into an internally rotated position, pulling and pressing on the hips in this posture. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Slight bend in that front knee. Exhale. And then inhale. Push away from the back leg, the back pinky toe edge, to load down into this front leg. Push that front heel into the floor, and then grab the floor with your feet. Long fingers, long arms, long neck, long spine. Push your arms back, lift your heart. This is a strong upper body postural strengthening posture too. Active heels, active feet. One more breath. And then unbend. Bring yourself all the way out. And you'll notice how effective you're being with the feet, that after 30 seconds or more of holding that, you're going to feel a strain in your feet from all of that work of trying to establish the base that the posture comes from. That's how we keep ourselves safe when we're practicing yoga for osteoporosis, is proper joint alignment as we create those strong forces of compression or tensile pressure. That is what stimulates bones to remodel. We're going to move into side angle. I like to do this with the block to push away from the block to add some rotation now in the spine. So when you bend down, make sure you're bending at your hips, not at your spine. Put your block to whatever side you'd like if you're using a block. Take your legs wide. Push the front heel into the floor, swivel, move the toes away, move the back heel away.
Slight bend in that front leg. Shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Exhale. And then inhale to load into the warrior two, pushing away from the back leg. From here, reach forward. Bring your hand onto your thigh or onto the block. Or the arm can come to the inner leg. And then create that tension. Activate the feet. Push away from the floor with the feet. Bring that tension all the way up to your spine. And then rotate your heart forward. There's some rotational force in the spine here in the side angle. And hip force. Take one more breath. You could bring your block with you if you have one. Coming back to warrior two, then all the way up. Toes are forward. Put the block down to where you're going to now. Lift the toes, swivel on the heel, back heel away from you. Slight bend in the front foot. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Exhale. Inhale, push away from the back foot. Load into that front hip and knee. Feel the hip bending too. Then inhale to reach long. Bring your hand on top of the thigh or on the block. Bending deep in the joints if you can. Push away from the floor, active feet. And then rotational force to the trunk as the heart is pointing or moving towards the sky. Be active in your legs. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to the warrior two and all the way out. Come to mountain to catch your breath. Breathe all the way down to your feet. And then shake your hands. So we're going to come into a standing balance posture, turning into our hip joint and loading up our hip in what's called half moon Ardha Chandrasana. This is a pretty challenging posture, so I recommend that you're either near a wall or a chair if you have any precarious balance. And even for those of you that are pretty secure about your balance, it's still better to be safe than sorry. So I have a wall near me. I'm not going to actually lean my body here, but actually having that wall or the back of a sofa or chair can be really calming to your proprioceptive nervous system and to your vestibular balance system, and your senses kind of know that, okay, there's something there. So it really is a way to actually stimulate safety or the feeling of safety when you're practicing some of these postures. So let's do the half moon posture. I'm going to do this with a block. You could have a chair there. You bend your hip to put your block down onto the ground. Your foot goes pointing in the direction of the block. Then we're going to load into that front hip, bending forward on it. Take your hand onto the block, and then activate your core to lift your leg up. Active leg. You're not just popping it up there, you're lifting it up. When you come into this, the shoulder blade of that upper arm, you want it to slide towards the spine to be supportive of you in this position. Active feet, contracted core. Take one more breath. You bend the front knee to come out. Keep your head lifted. Bring yourself out slowly. Coming to the other side. Toes point towards the block, bending that standing leg, bringing your hand onto the ground. You're gonna activate your core, lift your leg, active feet right away. That'll be helpful. Really lift that leg. Reach through that heel, reach through the heel on the ground, the heel in the air. Long spine, and then rotate your spine. Take one more breath. You bend the standing leg, dismount gracefully, bring yourself out. Shake your legs and come back to mountain to reestablish. We're gonna come down onto the ground, do a few more postures on the ground. So get what you need. You won't need any props other than your blanket. Coming down safely, loading up the hip, especially the hip. So really load up that hip. The knee is the number one weight-bearing joint. The hip is number two. So let's not give everything to the knees all the time. If you push into your heel, you're gonna activate your glutes. That's gonna be very supportive of your hip and your knee. And then you start to bend slowly your joints. If you take your hand here or be near a wall or have a chair to bring yourself down slowly. It's also nice for you to explore the strength of your joints to see what you have, because if you have weakness in your joints, you wanna make sure you keep them really nice and strong. We're gonna come onto our tushy. We're going to do a posterior chain strengthener. This is a reverse plank posture. It's gonna strengthen your wrist, which is important for bone health, and strengthen the back of your body, very important for bone health, for spine health, for happy hips and happy knees, happy aging, happy mind. Toes are forward, fingers are spread. Exhale, and then inhale. Push away from the ground, lift your pelvis up, stretching the shoulders. Push away with your feet and your hands. You could keep your head parallel, or if the neck doesn't like that, you could tuck your chin towards your chest. Lift your pelvis, push away from the ground. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself down. Let's come all the way down onto the ground to finish our final posture, Shavasana. Bring your hand to the side. Come down onto the ground. Bring your arms up into the sky. Shake your arms. Open your hands. Wiggle your fingers. Bring one knee in and then the other. You could draw your legs towards your chest, moving side to side. Rock across the top of your pelvis. Low back presses towards the ground. And then legs and arms are in the sky. Bringing yourself into final rest, Shavasana. Any last minute movements you need to do, go ahead and do them. And then bring yourself into the final rest, posture of integration. Stay here, stay with your breath. Set your body up to build more bone tissue. Stay here in this moment, connected to your breath. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Feel your breath stretching your ribs, stretching your whole torso down to the belly, the sides, the back, the ribs. And you rest your fingers and your toes. So you bring some movement into the hands, the feet, the ankles, the wrists. The knees bend, the elbows bend. And draw the knees in one at a time, rocking side to side. Come onto your side. Take your hand on the ground, pushing away from the floor. Come up to a seated position. Take your hands down alongside your body. Exhale. Inhale, eyes are closed. Bring the hands up above you. Let them find each other and draw them straight down to your heart. Press your heart to your hands to your heart. We're going to close our practice with sound, making that delineation between practice
and staying in this practice to ending the practice. Exhale. Inhale. In gratitude for this practice, for this opportunity to safely create bone building stimulation, strengthen our body, our bones, our muscles, our balance, our mindset, self-care, self-love. Thank you. So at the end of the practice, taking a nice dose of vitamin G, vitamin gratitude, that we have this opportunity to do what we're doing, because it is really special to have this practice, to have the wisdom of this practice, and the wisdom that went into creating whatever happened in this moment, whether it's whoever came up with the postures, the intention, Dr. Fishman teaching me, whatever it is, all the parts of why we're here today. So that was 14 postures, and hopefully safely entered by you all, warming up appropriately. You know, Carol, that's like a loaded question. So Carol, for those of you, some of you don't live here in Southern California, but I was teaching live, of course, in person, which is amazing to do. And we haven't done that for 2.5 years. No, Carol, there is no talk. The only talk is that we're not going back yet. So that's the only kind of talk I hear. And I think it's going to be really strongly correlated to whatever CDC regulations are. And because it is a hospital that I teach through, they're going to be really strict with their recommendations. But what I would be interested in, I would consider finding a space to teach and maybe doing a pop-up class or two. I don't know, maybe, yeah, that would be something to look into. So I might actually consider that. I don't know if I want to add another weekly class to my schedule, but I could consider doing a live something or other. So I'm going to look into that. Kathy. Aw, thank you, Kathy. Let me see. Great, Carolyn. Yeah, so much gratitude. Yes, I can't wait for you to do my challenge. So please join my monthly challenge. This month is going to be balance. I'm not going to tell you what next month is, but I would love to know if you have any desires of something you want to work on in your life, especially bone health related, because everything has to be about our bones. So think about one thing that the group could do as a challenge. I guess I'll tell you what I'm thinking of. So the next month is going to be strength, because that's super important, right? Muscle, bone. And then the following month, that's going to be December. So I'm trying to there's a couple that I'm coming up with. And one of them would be super challenging because it's food related. And I know that would be harder. So maybe I'll keep that for January. So anyway, if you have any suggestions, let me know. So go on my website, debbierobinson.com. It's on the homepage. I'm going to have a section for challenges on there to sign up. You'll get a video, you'll get some videos and a printout of your balance for the next 30 days, starting on October 1st. All right. So thanks so much for joining me. And I look forward to seeing you in whatever that means. Bye.